Hey class, this is Mrs. Lynn. Welcome to another week of remote learning. I hope you guys had a great weekend. It was Mother's Day on Sunday, so hopefully you guys got to enjoy Mother's Day together with your moms and that you guys made it extra special for her. So this week we're gonna go into our time capsule again and add two more slides. And this will be our final video on digital time capsules because heading into the week right before Memorial Day weekend, we have a really short week. Okay, so I'm actually not going to assign anything during that week. So this video right now will tell you about the two final slides that you're going to add to your digital time capsule. And then you're going to have until May 21st, which is, I believe, a Thursday, to turn this in. All right. So those of you who have been keeping up with your work, you'll probably be done with the project even before that. So once you're done, once you have proofread everything on in your project, you can go ahead and go to the assignment page and hit turn in. And that way I'll get your final product. Those of you who might still have some catching up to do, whether it's with this project or with other assignments during remote learning, make sure you have your mom and dad check your Power School to let you know what assignments you might be missing, and then use the next couple weeks to finish those projects. Right now, I think there's a whole bunch of you with missing assignments. So make sure you get those turned in and I'll put in your grades. All right. All right. So for this week, we're going to add again two more slides, the two final slides to your digital time capsule. And so I already have my time capsule open. Okay, remember for you guys, you're going to access this from the assignment page and just open up the file that you have already been working on. When you open up the file, it's going to probably be on the first slide by default. And you're just going to scroll down to your last slide. Okay. As you can see, I didn't fill out my letter from my parents because Mrs. Lynn's parents live in Vancouver and I didn't get a chance for them to do their homework for me. But you should have your letter already filled out from your parents as well as your interview from last week. So at this point, you're going to click on the add button again to add a couple new slides. And let me just go to this new one right here. Okay. So this week, the new slide that we're going to be adding, one of them anyway, is called the special events slide. And it's going to, it's going to let you create a table and to record some special events that happen during this stay home, stay safe time period. So I have an example file that I wanted to insert and show you. Let me see if I can minimize my video and that way you can see my screen better. All right, so this is the slide that I want you guys to work on today. Again, the picture file is going to be in your assignment, on your assignment page as one of the JPEGs that you can open up and look at. But again, we're going to use word art to insert a title for this page. And it's going to be special occasions. You guys should be pros at doing word art by now, right? And again, you're going to change the font to whatever it is that you prefer this week. All right, so special occasions. Okay, remember you can change the color of your fills and whatnot. You can line up your word art and anything you add to your page by using this red line that shows up, like when you're trying to move something, that red line in the center shows up, that tells you that you're lined up in the center. Okay, so that's a really good tool to have. So we're going to try to recreate this little table here. You guys see the table on the page? So it's a table that's going to let you record the events, the date, and how you celebrated this milestone or special occasion. So to do that, we're going to click Insert, and then we're going to scroll down to where it says Table. Now, when you click on the table, it's going to ask you for how big you want your table. Okay, so how tables are designed is that you have a specific number of columns. So the columns are the ones that go up and down. Okay, so I know I have 3 columns here that I need to add: event, date, and how you celebrate it. So that's 3 columns. And then I have to also tell the computer how many rows I need for my table. So the rows are the ones that go horizontally across the page. So let's see, I need 1 row for the title of my tables, right? So the event date, that's 1 row. And then for this example, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows. Okay, so it's 7 rows plus the title. So it's 8 rows actually. Now, for your time capsule, if you didn't have that many events that you're celebrating during this time, you don't have to have all 8. Maybe just have 3 to 5, if you can think of 3 to 5 events that you're celebrating, right? So we're going to go ahead and click Insert. So let's say we want 5 rows. We're going to go to Table, and you're going to kind of move your mouse over to where you see a little grid. This is how you can decide or tell the computer how big of a table you need. So 3 by 5 means I have 3 columns and 5 rows. And that's actually kind of what I want, right? I want 1 row for the header and then 4 spaces where I can fill out my event. You can even go to 3 by 6 if you have 5 events that you want to talk about. Okay, so you know what? Let's do that. Let's do a 3 by 6 table. Okay, here's my table now. It's way too small and it's really hard for me to see, but it's also kind of too small for my page, right? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom actually out a little bit. Okay, so there's my table. I'm going to first move it up to where near the top of my page. Okay, and then I'm going to drag on the sides of the table to resize it. So when I do that, you'll notice that the rows are going to automatically get bigger. You guys see that? Okay, and if I drag the sides of my table across, okay, the width of the columns are also going to get bigger. Okay, so you can kind of play with the sizing and the width and the height of your table. Okay, whatever looks good to you, you can kind of play around with it. Again, I'm going to try to center it with my special occasions title. Okay, and now it's kind of front and center. Now, I noticed that when I first insert that table, everything is kind of in that light gray and I can't see it very well. So what I'm going to do is highlight my table. Okay, and then I'm going to change the border color to something darker so I can see it. So I'm going to go ahead and change it to black. And I'm also going to change the border width to something slightly bigger. Again, that means that way I can see it better. So it's a little bit darker, right? And then now I can go ahead and enter my heading. So my headings are these like basically names for the columns. Okay, so I have event, date, and how you celebrate it. I noticed that this row in particular is a little bit skinnier. So I'm going to go ahead and actually make it a little bit skinnier. Okay. And then I'm going to type in my title. I also notice that these headers or these headings for the columns are centered. Okay, so before I start typing, I'm going to move my cursor to the center. Okay, I'm also going to move my cursor so that it's going to start typing in the middle of in the center of my row and not on the very top of my row. Okay, So those are some things you can play with. This button here is a very helpful button to help with your alignment, okay, where your text is going to be. All right, let's go ahead and change the font a little bit. I really like this one. I'm going to make the headings also bolded. Oops. And you can see this font, which I really like this font, but it's very, very light and very, very small. So I'm going to go ahead, even when it's bolded, it's very small. So I'm going to go ahead and try to change the font number to maybe 30. Do you think 30 we can see? There we go. Now we can see the font. Now it is, again, kind of like a lighter color font, but I'm not going to worry about it. Again, I'm going to do the same thing here. Center my word and also center it in the middle of my box. And this one, I believe, was date. Oh, I forgot to change my font to, was it 30? Okay, 30, and it's bold, I believe. Okay, and then it was date. Text font size didn't change. All right, date. And then the very last row or column is going to be called how you celebrate it. Okay. Again, I'm going to have to remember to change my font size, and the fact that it's bold. Okay, so how you celebrate it. All right. Ooh, I'm so glad that that actually fit. I wasn't sure whether that was going to fit my box. All right. And then the next thing to do is to fill out your chart. Okay. So again, you had enough. You can do maybe 3 rows if you really didn't have a whole lot of special events that you had to celebrate. But you can have as many rows as you need. If you want to adjust the size of these rows, you can just click on the line and kind of drag it up and down, okay? But then you can fill out your event, your date, and how you celebrate it. I know that this weekend we all celebrated Mother's Day, so that's something we can put on together. But maybe you had a birthday. I think some of you had a special birthday during the stay home, stay safe time, so you guys can put that in, or maybe your friend had a special birthday or your parents had a special birthday. So those are all things that you can record in your time capsule. Again, you can play with the alignments. But let's say we're going to do Mother's Day. Oh, I spelled Mother's Day wrong. Mother's Day. The date was, let's see. The date was May 10th. Okay. And how you celebrate it, I'm going to let you guys fill that out. Now, I do want to show you one extra tip. Did you guys notice that as I'm typing in new words in each cell, I've had to change the font and the font size and the bolding, bold and the alignment every single time. Now, that's going to be kind of annoying because look at how many boxes I have to fill in, right? So I don't actually want to have to do that every single time. Okay, so one thing you can do is you can highlight all the cells or the boxes that you know you're going to be typing in. Okay, and then once you have all the cells selected, you can change the font to something that you want. So let's say I decided to switch my font for the table to Acme, and I want it to be, um, let's see, size 24. Okay. Oh, that didn't show up as a change. I want you to be able to see the change. We changed it to size 30. Okay. And let's say we want it to be italic. So everything I want to be italicized. Okay. So hopefully, because you have selected all the boxes, now when you go and try to type something in, everything will have the same font properties. Okay, so for example, I know during this time I celebrated my daughter's 16th birthday. So we're going to write down Ella's 16th, or we'll just say Ella's sweet 16, okay, birthday. Celebrated that on April 13, 2020. Okay. And how do we celebrate? We had Zoom calls um, and cake. Okay, so that's just a very simple way to do that. You want to try to highlight the whole thing. If you want everything in that table to have the same font and font size and all that. And then you just have to do it once. And then after you've done it once, you don't have to worry about it again. You can just kind of click into the box and start typing, right? So hopefully that was a helpful hint to you. You guys, if you do have pictures from the special occasions, let's say you only have 3 events or even 2, so you have a lot of space left in your on your table or on your page, you can try to insert pictures from your special event. Let's say you have extra rows that you're not going to fill in. Let's say you added 1 too many rows or 3 too many rows. You can highlight those rows and then click, right click until this menu shows up. And then you can just click delete row. Okay. And that way it will delete whatever you have highlighted. Let's say you deleted more than you actually need. So you actually need extra rows. You can just park your cursor somewhere in your last row. Okay, so right now I'm parking my cursor here because that's my last row. I'm going to right click, okay, and then I can choose to insert row, okay, below, because I want my row to be below this last row, okay, and that's how you would insert a row. You can also insert in between if that's what you want to do. You can also insert a column. Okay. Now, right now I know I don't need an extra column, but let's say when you're adding your table, you forgot one of the columns, you can go ahead and insert column left or right. And in that case, it will insert a column wherever your cursor is, right? So it says insert column left. Since my cursor is right here, it's going to insert the column to the left of that cursor. Okay, so that's page 7, slide 7. We're going to add another page. And on this page, it's going to be very similar to the letter from your parents' page, but this page is going to be notes from your friends. Okay, and we're going to create a page of Post-it notes that you might have gotten from your friends with messages that you might have gotten from your friends. If your friends have or family have sent you cards or like postcards or special messages during COVID-19 and you have a picture of it, you can just insert the picture. Okay. But I kind of want to show you this other option where you can insert something that looks like a Post-it note. So this page, again, let's just really quickly do a title because I don't have a example page for you. This could be special messages from friends and family. Okay, so let's say you got a letter or a card from grandma. You can use this page to capture those. All right, so we're going to go ahead and quickly change this to a different font. We'll change the color to, have we used deep purple yet? All right, so let's say that's your special messages from friends and family title. Okay, so what you can do is insert. And again, if you have a picture of somebody or of something somebody has sent to you, you can go ahead and insert that image right here, right from your computer. But right now we're going to search the web and hopefully it will have a picture of a Post-it because that's kind of the look that I'm going for. The Post-it note right here like that. Okay. So, oh, I kind of like this one. All right, so let's choose this one. Okay, and we're gonna click insert. And it's gonna insert this Post-it. You know what though? Okay, we'll do that first and I'll show you another way. All right, so now you have a picture, but we want their message to be on that Post-it, right? So what we're gonna do is insert a text box and put that text box on top of that Post-it note. Okay, so let's try that. We're gonna put the text box right here. Okay, And let's say your, I don't know, grandma sends you a nice message or note. So you can transcribe it on there. Now, this is going to be a very tiny, tiny note, but hopefully you can get the idea, right? So dear, now I guess I'll write down this note as if my daughter has written it, because this is my time capsule, right? Dear mom, I love you so much. All right, so this is just a pretend love note from my daughter, Ella and Charlotte. Okay, that's what you can do. You can create kind of like a digital bulletin board where you can tack up all the messages that you might have received from your friends. Now, did you guys notice that there is this like gray background that's kind of taking up a lot of space on my page? So what you can do when you have an image like that with a large background is you can actually try to crop it. So let's try that. We're going to crop, click this crop icon, okay? And then these black lines will show up around your image. And this is how you're going to crop. You're going to grab one of those crop lines, the black lines, and you're going to just drag that line in, okay, to where you kind of want to kind of have your image be cropped to. All right, so I'm going to try to crop as close to those lines as possible. Okay, and that way I get rid of all this empty space I don't need. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and click crop again when I'm ready. And then it's going to be cropped to this little tiny picture. Now, remember my text box is on top of my picture. So if you were to try to reposition your image, don't forget you're going to have to reposition your text box as well. Okay, because those two are not part of the same object. So there are actually two different things on top of each other. So if you were to move one of your boxes, one of your images, remember to also move your text box. Okay, so let's try that again. And this time, I'm actually going to see if we can find another image so I can show you. Um, Let's do posted, but this time we're going to try to see if we can do a transparent background one. So we sometimes can find images that doesn't have the background, and that way it's actually easier to just use those kind of images in our file. So let's try to see if we can find one without a background. So I'm going to do posted transparent background. Okay. Okay, so it seems like we found some. Let's see if we can find one that's similar to the one we had. Oh, I kind of like this purple one. So let's go ahead and click and drag that onto our page. And hopefully there's no background because I want you to see the difference between those two types of images. Okay, do you guys see it? Okay, so when I do a search specifically for a transparent background image, there's no background. So it basically just looks like, look like I posted my note right onto the page, doesn't it? Okay. Now, in this case, again, you can just put your text box right on top. So let me try to do that. Oh, there's my dear mom image. Now, because I added the post-it later, it's going to actually cover up my dear mom message, right? So what you need to do is actually bring up um, this, sorry, I'm going to put them on top of each other. I'm going to actually send this post-it image to the back of my message, my dear mom text. So what I can do is right click on the post-it, okay? And where it says order, I'm gonna send it backwards. Or actually, I can send it all the way to the back, okay? And now, because I send it to the very bottom of my layer, I can now see my text, Okay, so this is tricky if you were to insert something in the wrong order. You might have to go to that order option. Okay, hopefully you wouldn't have to do it, but right here is where you can change the order on in which you put down your objects. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that alone now. Hopefully you don't need to do that. But look, doesn't that one look so much better um, than the one we did before, just because there's no background on the purple post-it, and it just looks like I've posted something right on top. All right, so I'm just gonna copy and paste that message right onto there just so you can see a side-by-side comparison. Okay, now this is really useful, just knowing how to find a transparent background image. This is really useful when you have a background that's maybe a different color. So let's say I'm going to choose a background that is, um, let's say blue. Okay. Do you guys see the difference between those two? In my purple, for my purple post-it, it looks like I have a purple post-it right on top of this page. But in this case, because my yellow post-it has that gray background, it's going to show up kind of in a weird way, right? So that's a tip for you to do a search that way. Okay. And once you have that post-it, you can also tilt it. You can just kind of play around with how you want that image to look on your paper. But hopefully, you've had some friends or family give you encouraging messages during this shutdown time that you can actually put together a nice special message board for your time capsule. All right, so that's about it. Those are the two final slides for your time capsule. Once you have all your 8 slides done, you can actually move the slides around if you need. But when you're done, you're ready to turn this in Google Classroom. So make sure you actually go back to Google Classroom and hit that turn in button when you're done with these last 2 slides. All right. Have fun with this. Remember, this is not due until May 21st, so you have plenty of time to finish off the project. And during that last week's check-in, I might have you guys share your project with the rest of the class. So be prepared for that, especially if you come to those check-ins regularly. All right, have fun with it, and I can't wait to see your finished product. See you later.